This is Greetings, guys. Welcome back to the third episode of Theories and Thoughts. I'm one of your hostesses, Fancy, and I have with me
Arnya. Hey, y'all. Hey. How y'all doing today? I would like to welcome y'all to Theories and Thoughts. Y'all know where two inspiring women come together and hold court, right? We hold court. We talk about news that's affecting us in our community, and we have a topic. And tonight's topic is love don't have to hurt. So stick around for that. But first, Fancy with the news. What are we talking about today, Fancy?
Okay, so last week we the conviction of Amber Dallas, the former Dallas police officer who walked into the guy's apartment, Jean Botham, and killed him. And she was found guilty last week, and she ended up being sentenced for 10 years. So last week we had not heard the sentencing just yet. So we were kind of thinking, okay, some type of as far as justice being served, and then the next day we're only going to be receiving 10 years. So a lot of people felt like that wasn't enough years. Personally, I don't think it was enough years either. But then on Friday evening, the key witness, Joshua Brown, who actually testified in the Amber Guire case, saying that he heard, he heard the sound of, as what he described, two people meeting for the first time, and then he heard gunshots. So on Friday evening, Joshua was murdered outside his new apartment complex. And it's been like a lot of kind of back and forth theories being thrown across the news. Of course, today it actually came out that they arrested one of the guys who they say was involved in the shooting. It is being said that it was actually like a drug deal gone bad. And they shared like some things that they found within Joshua's apartment. And personally, I'm just like, now, I saw so many things, because even before they held the press conference today, I did read this post. It was actually a video, whereas they were showing the judge, I think her last name is Kemp, like Judge Kemp, mouthing the words that she's shocked that Joshua even showed up, to testify. But there was also like within the caption of that post, they were saying that he had just made it back from California before arriving to court that day. Like he left the airport and went straight to court. So one thing I was looking at, as far as when people are saying that, oh, it was a drug deal gone bad, I'm like, well, he just left California. I don't know if Texas is is marijuana legal in Texas?
No.
Okay. And I was still wondering, like, even if he brought all that back, that's just kind of why I'm thinking that maybe they found what they found in the apartment. And I don't think I don't think that they should have announced that. I feel kind of like, while he is the victim here, he's being treated like the villain, as well as the fact that when I was researching to write about this case, I was like, we didn't even know that he feared for his life, or that he was involved in a shooting in November of last year until he was killed. So I just think I have a lot of questions. I'm not totally buying into everything that's being said. I know as a media outlet, you have to be responsible with the information that you put out. But I'm just going to be honest, like personally, I still think that there may be more to this. And we just see too much in the news nowadays, or just hear too much. There's too many movies being made, whereas we see that these type of things, these type of situations can be set up. So I'm really undecided. I was disappointed almost, like, to hear, like the discoveries that they announced today, as well as the fact that the guys were supposed to have been from Alexandria, Louisiana. So that made things even worse, but I'm just not totally buying all that, because anybody can be a scapegoat, when you have the right people setting you up, or whatever the case may be. But what are your thoughts on the matter?
So I didn't know that Judge Kemp had mouthed that, but I can see why she would say that, especially if he had been dealing with some threats. I know a lot of people in the case have been dealing with a lot of threats. They were talking about that a lot, and I never understood why people are always trying to threaten somebody. My thoughts is, I don't believe it. Why is it so important to know what was in his house? That's kind of like Botham's when they said, oh, he was smoking marijuana. Why does that matter? He's the victim. That don't matter. So I feel like they're trying to make, oh, well, this is why this happened. He was killed execution style. He was killed. He got shot in his mouth.
Now that they came back and corrected that information, because I actually saw when it was Botham's family lawyer, was his name Lee Merritt, like he tweeted that out, and I did see a lot of people run with that, but then they came back and said that he was actually shot like in our body, and Lee Merritt as well, he had been misinformed, and he did correct that, because initially everybody was like, that was what do you call them, or a warning, like to let people know, but that part they say isn't true.
Well, I kind of feel like I didn't see anything about Joshua having a record, and if he was that heavy into it, and if you're testifying against the police, I don't think you would have had all that in your apartment. So that's where my mind goes. Like, you already know how these police are. And not all. I have friends that are cops. Not all. I feel like it's a very unfortunate situation. I feel like to see that they have 2 Black African American men for the crime also. At first, I felt like it was a hit. And then I was like, well, why would they shoot him after the fact? But it just seems very suspicious. The whole thing, everything surrounding it sounds suspicious, and it sounds like something's going on. And I don't think we'll ever find out.
Now, I do agree with that. As well as, I would also say, initially I was kind of thinking it was a hit as well, but my whole thing is it doesn't even have to be the police, because a lot of people feel like we shouldn't have been entitled to that justice, or Jean Botham's family shouldn't have been entitled to that justice. Like you've said yourself, you stated history of how many police officers are actually have have actually been convicted. Even when I was doing research, I saw I think it was maybe out of 98 cases that have actually gone to trial, only 35 have been convicted, I want to say. Yeah, and then because I remember writing that Amber made 36. So, and that's in the country. So with that being said, it doesn't always have to be the police. That doesn't mean, like you just said, you have friends that are policemen. So the friends have police as well. That's how I see things. So I think, somebody could have been upset with the verdict. And then there was also the fact that people were sharing that post. It was like an innocent woman was sentenced today or something like that. I don't know if you saw that, but I was like, really? But people really believe what they choose to believe, So when you believe something that strongly, who's to say what you would or would not do? So those are my thoughts.
I agree. My thing with the whole case is, again, could have been an accident, yeah, but there's consequences to your actions. Even if it was an accident, if somebody goes out here and kills somebody in a car, they're going to go to jail for murder or for vehicle homicide. That's just what happens. And that could have been an accident. So let's not, that was my biggest thing. She wasn't innocent. She said she shot to kill. Again, I just hate, and I have white friends, so let me preface that with that I'm really not being racist here, but I hate the white woman is so dainty and so, and then they paint Black women to be so rah in your face when that's not what it is. And I feel like that's what they did with her. And oh, I fear for my life. You're training. So if you fear for your life when you seen that Black man, you fear for your life every day on these streets. That means you shouldn't have been a cop. Sorry, not sorry. You can't play that role. You can't use that card. I'm sorry. Even when these cops always saying that with the Black men that they see. Oh, I thought he was going to do this. If you thought that much, you shouldn't be on the street. If you're fearing for your life that much, you shouldn't be on the street. And we see all the time how Black men don't make it out, but these white men get tasered, they fighting, and they doing all this stuff. That's my issue. We never make it out, but they do. And that's so unfair. And I have a friend, and trust me, I'm not speaking ill of nobody, because like I said, I got cops that's friends. One of my very close friends is a cop from childhood. She's a cop. Went to high school with cops. But when will it end? When we gonna see justice? And you know, last week, I actually put on my page, I said 10 years. I was like, at least I said that's progress. And a lot of people took issue with that. I was looking at the standpoint, first of all, they convicted that woman. And I told you, they hadn't convicted a woman cop here in Dallas ever. That's progress to me. 10 years for her to get conviction and get more than 5 years. I didn't think she was going to get convicted. I thought she was going to walk scot-free. So to me, that was progress. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was progress to, like you just said, how many cops get convicted?
Out of she made 36.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think I wish I could remember how long they've been tracking this data, but I cannot remember off the top of my head. But the article is on a website though, where it's when I write about Joshua Brown. So I do need to go back and update as far as like with the current details that have been revealed. But that's where my head was at yesterday when I shared my thoughts on the matter, as well as, you know, when I was researching. But there was one other thing that I wanted to mention as well. Oh, and one of the last news articles that I read, they were saying that Joshua was actually supposed to be testifying against, testifying as far as the shooting that occurred in November. So they said that that could have been a possibility, you know, like that may have played a part in things. But even still with that, I've still thought that that was still connected to him being a witness. So I don't know. I guess, you know, we'll have to see how the events unfold on things. But did you have any other last theories or thoughts on the matter?
No more theories on that matter. It's a sad case, and I'll be praying for his family. I hope it wasn't DPD. I hope it was. I wish, it's just so unfortunate. I just pray that the violence stop, which is probably not going to, because the Bible talks about the last days, but we're not going to get into that right now. I just pray that, you know, we get safe and some answers come. That's all I got.
And he left behind a young son. That was like, you know, even more sad. And just again, the fact that he was brave enough to testify, and the fact that he was already he did testify. And then also, I'm sorry, I have to say this too. When I think about that were being shared online of his other again, and with Amber last week, I was like, hey, this is almost like a slap in the face, you know. In some ways, when you think about it that way, like, you know, if it was, you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I was like, you think? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so you were really kind of confused. So I was like, okay, you didn't see that picture, but yeah. And I know some people were like, you know, they're practicing forgiveness and that's compassion. And I get that. You know, I know what it's like to go years holding on to something and allowing it to make you bitter, you know, and just like what a relief it is to get rid of that weight. But I also think there is a time period. Like, I need to see you, just me personally, I would need to see you in jail a few years first. I need to see some type of reform, not this immediate, oh, I forgive you. I'm not that mature. I'm sorry. I guess I haven't grown to that level yet. But yeah. So
a lot of
this news.
Wait, I have one more thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
I have one more thing. My apologies. I understood what he was doing. I'm not sure if I'm that mature, but I understood. They showed the picture of the judge hugging her, but they didn't show the judge hugging the family. I have a problem with that. because they made it seem like, oh, she was just so compassionate to her. The judge actually went and talked to Botham's mother, made sure she was all right, hugged her, they chatted a little bit. She hugged every member of the family that was over there and spoke to the attorney. So it wasn't just compassionate for Amber. It was, I'm going to go over here and this, that, and the other. And my best friend had brought up, she was like, how they know that the mother didn't say, oh, you know, do you have a Bible? Give her this scripture. Because they did have a conversation that it's like they whispered in each other's ear. But I don't know what they were saying. I don't know what was said, but you don't know what the mother had said, you know, and it's a sad case. I don't know if I could have been that mature. I don't know, but I feel like he was brave, and I feel like he did it for himself and not for her. You know, being Christian is one of those things that, and just anything, just letting that baggage go. And like he said, he got what he needed. She said, I'm sorry. And that's what he was waiting on for a year. Everybody gets to that place. And then I seen a post from the sister, and she was like, you know, my brother was brave. Y'all get off of him. Like, no need to be nasty towards him, you know. And then that's another thing. How you so justice for both of them, but you trashing his brother and talking to him? Like, I don't get it. It's a respect thing. That's just for me. That's a respect thing. Oh, the family's cool with it? Okay. Like, I'm not going, oh, you stupid, or you're cool. No, you saying that to the brother of the man that you're supposed to be fighting for. We got to do better. And then it becomes some blacks against other blacks. And then Christianity, girl, I had to unfriend people because of my faith. And I'm like, you're not going to trash my faith. Some people are different. That's going to have to be a topic one day. But that's just how I feel. You can't trash my faith and I just be like, oh, okay, yeah. No, I don't really like that because my faith is who I am. That's my identity. But okay.
Okay, yeah. I had some thoughts, but I'm gonna hold those because they've caused a whole nother discussion. But I do understand what you're saying as well. So yeah. So as I was trying to say, this new segment is brought to you by Genesis Fitness. Gen Fit is a community of women who recognize the need to reclaim their lives and are emotionally ready to do the work with Beverly K. Johnson, motivational life coach, fitness trainer, and girlfriend authority. So if you'd like to learn more about Beverly and Genesis Fitness, you all can visit her website here, as well as she and Jermel did a live. They often go live on Sunday evenings where she discusses different fitness. So you all can check that out as well. All right. Now for the topic of the day, Anya.
Love doesn't hurt. As you guys know, October is Domestic Violence Month. We wanted to have awareness. We wanted to discuss this, some ways to know that you're in a domestic violence situation, and kind of share some of our stories. So I was going to talk about two things. I've been an aggressor and I've been a victim. And I can say I can speak for myself because, and what was my issues as an aggressor, I used to fight my boyfriend all the time. And in the Black community, oh, she hitting him, oh, they fighting. We look at that as, oh, that's nothing. And we don't realize that that's actually domestic violence. And it would be when I would lose control. I would lose control. Well, lose control. He wasn't listening to what I wanted him to do or what I said. And that's when I would do it. That's when I would hit him. Like one day I pulled him up out of a chair and like, that was just our thing. And that's not cute. So many times I remember seeing a post online where young ladies, boys were choking and it was like, oh, he loved me. That's not love. That's not love. That's not how you express love. That's not. And so that was about 11 years ago. That was 11 years ago. And I remember distinctly his mama told me, she said, you better stop. You better keep your hands off my son. Because I like bigger guys and I'm short. And she was like, you need to keep your hands off my son before he hits you back. And that's why whenever I see these videos of these girls getting in these voice fights, I be like, he should have hit her back. Because we can't walk around and want our men to just walk around and allow us to just beat them. Like, that's not cool. We wouldn't tell our girls to do that. So why would we have our sons do that? And that's not cool. And I know we're always talking about physical domestic violence. So I wanted to tell y'all about a story of a man. He wasn't even my boyfriend. I always say it was a situationship. And it went on for like 6 years, off and on. And in hindsight, when you're up out of it, like one day I had enough. And it was verbal abuse. It was verbal, mental, and emotional abuse. And I just remember saying that was abuse. And a lot of times we don't put abuse on it. We don't say that's domestic violence. Oh, they abused me, because we're so used to it. We're used to our parents maybe calling us out our names. My mom never called me up out my name, but I'm just saying in general, parents calling calling their child out of their name, or hitting them and grabbing them, and then later on just, oh, I love you. And then I feel like a lot of domestic violence comes from youth. And Fancy and I was talking about it, and she was like, oh, you're coming from that angle. And I was like, we as parents, as adults, we have to be careful. Because one minute we're chastising them, and I'm not saying don't chastise your child. I'm not saying that at all. But sometimes we're beating them and we're not whipping. Come here, little B. That's verbal abuse. That's abuse. I'm telling y'all now. That's verbal abuse. Because then if you're calling her a little B, and then she get out here in this world and she's 25 years old and her man calling her a little B and calling her this, she think it's cute. Oh, my mom used to do that. And it's subconsciously my parent used to do that, or I watched that. And we have to be cautious about who we bring around our kids too, and the way they talk to each other. In my situation, it was a man that I felt like I loved. I used to be like, do you love me? He was like, yeah. I'm like, well, why you don't tell me you love me? I'm very affectionate. Fancy to tell you, I tell her I love you every day. Every time we hang up the phone, I'm like, I love you. But I'm that person. Do you think I'm pretty? Yeah, you're pretty. Why you don't tell me I'm pretty? I don't have to tell you you're pretty. You already know you're pretty. But when we'll get into an argument, I was all these names. But before, I was so amazing. I'm this woman. I'm so awesome. But when you lose control and when you're upset with me, I'm all these derogatory words. I'm all these derogatory names. And then I stopped dealing with you for some months because I'm not going to let you talk to me like that. And then you come back and you come and tell me, oh, I'm sorry, and I'm not going to do it again. And then you do it again. And then it becomes a cycle, because then I'm like, oh, I should forgive him. And I tell people all the time, I can forgive you and not have to deal with you, because me putting myself in that same boat over and over, and you honestly are not showing that you're changing. It's a difference when a person is showing you that they're changing. They're willing to go to counseling and they're willing to figure out where it came from for them. And a lot of times kids didn't see their parents get beat, or they got beat. And that's kind of where all that comes from, that tension. Or they just don't know how to handle it, how to move it around. And it was a lot, y'all. And I went through a lot of low self-esteem. And a lot of people be like, how it's self-esteem? If it's self-esteem, it's you. It's your esteem. You're right. But the things that people tell you, we internalize, especially women. We internalize the things. And we may not say it right then, but if you call me fat, and I'm a thick girl, y'all already know. But if it's the way that you say it, before it would bother me. It would hurt my feelings. Even though I'm a big girl, it would hurt because it's the way that you said it. I'm sorry, y'all know I'm still coming up off this sickness. It's because it's the way that you said, oh, your hair is nappy. I know my hair nappy. And I'm like, well, why they call my hair nappy? I can put my hands in my hair. I can do this to my head, you know. And then you start wondering why did they call me that? Why they say this? Why they say that? And I have to watch myself too when dealing with my niece, because I always call her princess, and I'm always telling her I love her, and then she did something, but I didn't call her it. I told her she was acting like something. And one of my friends was like, but she's a princess. We don't talk to the princess like that. She's always the princess. And it brought to me, you can't do that either. So we really have to check ourselves. And that's where I wanted to come tonight, you know, about domestic violence. Yes, we always talk about physical violence, and, you know, we see a bruise or whatever, or but we never really talk about emotional and mental abuse. We never really talk about those things, that isolation when your mate is like, and I'm saying men and women. Men, you do not have to, you know, it's like you don't have to deal with that either. You know, the bringing down, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, just because you're mad at me, or just because that's just how you're going to try to talk to me. I'm not, me personally, I don't deal with it. You come at me like that, I'm not dealing with it. I made a decision that I don't have to. And after realizing exactly what that was back then, I really know and feel like I'm not dealing with it. So that's my story. Fancy, did you have something to add before I go into identifying?
Well, I wanted to say, I'm sorry, like, okay, I did my makeup tonight, playing around, and apparently it's like in my eyes, that's why I'm blinking so much. But when you were saying that that, you know, oftentimes if we've already saw this type of things play out in the home as a child, or we're seeing it, you know, just on social media or whatever the case may be. What I wanted to say is that that's called normalization. You know, we normalize it, and so it's not even until, and I just remember when I interviewed a domestic violence advocate, and she was talking to me about normalization and just how you don't even realize, you know, what's going on until like maybe you're reading some study or some article, and then, you know, like, hey, oh, that's what that is. And so you and I also talked about like actually identifying things, putting a name to situations, and how that brings more awareness of what's actually going on. But also just, even, I know we were talking about this week, and I kept trying to think like of a time if an emotional, and like, definitely not. I'm not putting my hands on anybody. I'm too late, and I've never you know, just really person to hit someone, and basically it's because I've always worried they hit me back, so I didn't even go there. But I have actually endured of, you know, of actual physical domestic. For me, it really wasn't too much older years, but my early 20s, and I just never forget. I think the psychological abuse going on with that situation as well. And even as I was looking over like the different what were we saying? The ways to identify whether or not that's what it is. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that was definitely the case. But I'll just never forget in that situation how just with the guy I was with, when we ended up having this argument or whatever, and he actually pushed me outside our house naked. I had just got out the tub. And I just like, that is something that even still now to this day, it still hurts. Cause you know, like it was only like by the grace of God, cause we lived on a main street, as well as we lived like behind the police department. So to think that, you know, he would actually be brave enough to do something like that, but that is like a long story within itself. I plan to share about it at some other point of time or whatever. But so yeah, I have experienced a lot of, well, I would say a lot, but with him, it was a lot. And that relationship lasted like maybe almost 2 years. And it really got to the point whereas I actually decided that, you know, and I didn't even have to decide, actually. I think he just kind of knew that I was kind of no longer bending to his will. But the last incident that we had, I'll never forget, was him choking me out, actually, like in a room. The way my house was set up, it was, my bedroom was right next to my living room, and my whole family was in the living room. And that's just how terrified I was to make a sound, that they never even knew that this was going on. So I think that just kind of scared me enough away to, like, you know, whenever I begin to see those signs in someone, I'm not going to let someone put their hands on me. And I know that I'm not the type of person to really hit you back. And if I do, if I actually try to bring some type of retaliation, I'm going to be trying to kill you. I'm not going to be thinking about, oh, let me, you know, so, because I know I only got this one opportunity. That's just how my mind thinks. So, yeah, but as far as just emotional abuse, and I was just thinking, like, I know that oftentimes in relationships, when I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm just being really ugly, and y'all haven't just really saw me be really ugly, unless y'all saw me like go off on a vent video or something, and I just really, yeah. But when I begin to see that too much in myself, like, for one, it takes a lot of energy to be, you know, to be that way with someone. I'll start to pull away, and I'll start making arrangements, like, because that's just not something I want to deal with, you know. I don't know. I just feel like you see too much. I just always be like, you see too much every day to just see, like, you know, you don't have to go that far in a situation to not know that it could. I mean, there's a whole ID channel. I used to watch ID channel all the time. So stuff like that really makes me think, like, hey, you know what? Just go ahead on and go. But you wanted your identifiers?
Yes. And I was about to say, when you said, because I remember you said, put a name to it. And I always, you know, we always say that, put a name to it, put a name to it. The thing is, people don't put a name to it because it's so normal, and we don't put a name to it. So not putting a name to it, we don't realize that that's exactly what's happening. Because again, it's normal. We see it in our family. We see our aunts, our uncles, and, you know, cousins, and just the neighbor. They always fight. No, they always fighting. You know, they always doing this. Something always going on in their house, you know, or the police always there. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? And you never realize, you're never like, that's wrong. But when you put a name on it, when I say, I don't like the way you're speaking to me, that's domestic violence. That's abuse. That's verbal abuse. When I say that, that person then steps back and say within themselves, you know what? That's what that is, you know, and then you have a chance to correct yourself. And I know in a lot of situations, like I said, in my situation, in my verbal abuse situation, it was maybe a year or two later, I was like, that was abuse. Like, he was abusing me. That wasn't love. He was abusing me. And even in my situation, when it came to you know, me putting my hands on that woman's son, like I said, she was like, baby, I put my hands on his dad. And his dad hit me back. And it took that time. And it took that mother to tell me, keep your hands off my son. Now that relationship ended with a little domestic violence too. However, we are able to be good friends now. And I don't know if he, you know, whatever. But I know for us, it was toxic, and it was a toxic environment, and it hurt after the fact. And that type of stuff linger with you, you know, it lingers with you. So here are some tips to identify if you're in an abusive relationship. One of them I'm gonna say is isolation. If he have a problem with everybody around you, everybody.
I just have to say that was like one of ours. And like I said, I was like 2021. I remember giving him my phone, the car. I was just like sitting in the house and going to work. That was it. My friends, like, they were like, oh, we just don't see you anymore, you know? And what he used to always say was like, oh, you don't need to be around them hoes, you know, so. That was always the thing. Oh, you don't need to, like, no. And I'm like, they not like that, you know? But at the time, I really didn't realize it. You know, I was just really thinking, oh, he doesn't think I should be hanging around these people. And, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, my mama do so-and-so, so-and-so. I maybe shouldn't be talking to her as much. And I just like, and I lived in the same town as my family, you know, and where I'm from, it's a small town. So that's only like 10 minutes away. But I was just totally there in that house to myself. And that was it. It was just him and that's it. You know, he go out for hours at a time, just show back up whenever he wanted to. And I just thought, oh, that's what this is supposed to be.
And that's hurtful because you don't have nobody to say, this is what he's doing to me.
Yeah.
So so isolating from family and friends, threatening to commit suicide if you leave. That's manipulation. Oh, if you leave me, I'm gonna commit suicide, I'm gonna kill myself, I can't live without you. Baby, you're gonna have to live without me because I can't deal with this. You know, and I know, you know, man, you was talking when you said you won't hit him back. I hit him back. And I'm gonna pick up something too. You hit me, we gonna be in here rumbling, tumbling. Cause no, I'm not I don't like pain either, but you ain't gonna put your hands on me. No, ma'am, no, sir. All right. Using money to control. That's a big one, especially if you don't make as much money or you feel like, it makes me think, that particular one made me think about the Tyler Perry movie. When the mom was like, girl, deal with that good man. He have all this money. No, that's abuse. That's abuse. People will use money to abuse you, especially when they feel like you don't have nothing or they brought you to another class. And that doesn't mean that, oh, I have to stay because of that. No. Saying things like, if you don't blank, I will blank. So that could be, if you don't do what I say, I'll leave you, maybe.
As well as like, I've even had guys to tell me like, you know, just being honest, my little Atlanta guy that I dated that just brought me hell. I know he would just be like, you know, well, if you're not gonna do this, I'll find somebody else that will, you know, basically just there it was. And he was that serious, you know, the people that really, but I was in that situation. You didn't mention it, kind of makes, there was a lot of psychological abuse going on. Yeah.
What's so crazy is the emotional abuse person, he lived in Atlanta too. Atlanta, what y'all doing, man? I'm laughing, but it's serious. Saying I love you, but when I seen that, I felt like it was always trying to change something that you're doing. You're never good enough. You're never enough for whatever it is. I love you, but I don't like your hair like that. I don't like this. I don't like that. No, that's abuse. And that's abuse. I got to change everything about me just so you can love me. Hey, that's my best friend. Okay. Mean jokes are constantly making fun of you. And I'm going to add, especially in front of people. Mean jokes and constantly making fun of you is in front of people. So that means he's trying to belittle you. He's trying to belittle you and he's trying to become superior. Because see, your abuser, they have to be superior. They're trying to conquer something. They're trying to be above you. And if they make fun of you or have cruel jokes, they're honestly trying to talk about you and talk about things that people would look at you sideways and not want to deal with you, and then you become isolated again. Extramarital affairs. Yeah, turning them against you. Extramarital affairs, cheating. That what you gonna do if I leave? You know, and it's kind of like, oh, well, I gotta deal with this because if I don't deal with this, they're gonna leave, and I need them here. You know, I got these kids. What I'm gonna do? You know, what I'm gonna do with the with these kids and things like that. No, ignoring or excluding you. I hate to be ignored, y'all. By anybody. I don't care who you are. Don't ignore me. Don't ignore me. Ignoring or excluding you out of things. Oh, I'm going to do this. You gonna stay at home. You gonna, you don't look good enough to come with me. Stuff like that. Little comments. Refusing to communicate. I was dealing with this one guy, and he even told me that was abuse. He had to apologize to me because he started going to counseling. I told y'all if they're working on themselves, he was working on himself, and he started going to anger management, actually. And he was like, that was abuse. He said he didn't know that it was abuse, but it was abuse because he would ignore me and wouldn't communicate with me. So hypercriticism, again, anything, the house ain't clean, the house is spotless, but always finding something wrong with it. Your food, this food is this, just hyper criticizing you for whatever reason, just because they feel like that's what they want to do. They got to put you down. And that's the next one, constant put downs. You can't do nothing right. And constant put downs, as for me, I could be like, well, why you with me? I can't never do nothing right for you. But that's just me. Humiliating or embarrassing you. that goes without saying what exactly it is. Humiliating you, just constant put downs, making fun of you, all of those different things, they all go hand in hand. Yeah. So if you feel like we can't tell you to leave, because you may not even realize that that's the type of situation that you're in, but there is a hotline that you can call, 1-800-799-7233. It's a national abuse hotline. If you just want to talk to somebody, I'm sure that you can just talk to someone. Going to a domestic violence conference before at my job, I can honestly say that Bank of America is real big on that. One lady said sometimes it takes 3 times before you really leave. Most victims leave is 3 times. So can't tell you to leave. You have to do what's best for you. But however, there is help out there. There's different shelters. Talk with someone, I would say. Ask them, to just kind of hug you, I'm going to say seek counsel in whatever form that you feel like you should seek counsel. And keep your head up. If it's a physical abuse or mental abuse. And if you feel like somebody who is getting physically or emotionally abused, I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw this out here. You can't just text them because they're not going to just tell you that I'm getting beat. I mean, because I would have never told you. I'd have been like, girl, we fight all the daggone time. I would have never said, oh, this is abuse. He's beating me. Or I'm beating him or whatever. It's just, oh, girl, we fight all the time. I would say step back, pray about it, and ask God to tell you which direction to go. If you feel like somebody is being there, or even call that hotline, maybe they can give you things to do to help you with your friend or whomever may be going through that situation, or you feel like it's going through that situation and you don't know how to talk to them. Fancy, do you have anything else on this topic?
Okay. I just want to say this. As far as if you suspect it or if you are the victim, I was really blown away when I learned that we're not supposed to just encourage people to leave like this, because they should really have steps prepared, because leaving just, randomly can actually put them in more danger or in more harm. So that's one reason why we didn't suggest that, as well as why it's recommended that you don't just suggest that to someone, but that they actually go to, seek the proper help, because those individuals are more qualified. They're familiar with the situations. They can provide you with the best resources, or they can assist you themselves. I just think that is just really important. And I think just even as we were talking about the money being one of the reasons why like as far as what people use the money to hang over your head or keep you there. I was just thinking about like how many people are in relationships nowadays out just because of money. You know, we see it all the time. We see women posting about it all the time. So it makes me think that there are possibly a lot more women, you know, or men being abused than what we may actually know, you know, and they're just staying in those situations because it is because of finances, because of the stability or whatever the case may be, whatever the material items are. So I just wanted to note those two things.
Okay. That was a deep discussion, you guys. And if you need somebody to talk to, our emails are always open. fancy@swagher.net. Mine is admin@swagher.net. If you want to get that number, that hotline, we're gonna put the signs in the comments later. So, all righty. From something deep to something a little bit better, we have a sponsor, Nola Baby Body Butters. And guess what? We have a giveaway. Who wants the giveaway? So we have chocolate fruit, grapefruit, and vanilla. This is a body butter, and I'm going to show you guys the body butter in a minute. I don't know if you can see that.
Say pull it back some. Okay, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, it might be my eyesight.
I'll take a picture.
That's better though, so we can see the font better.
Second line, sugar scrub, strawberry daiquiri. We have Lanyap lip scrub, that tangle, and we have Cure the Chop. And this is that tangle. This is also this is a lip balm. I actually use these products every day. I just got me some new, so I was gonna show y'all. This is actually a chocolate fruit, grapefruit and vanilla. Put that up here. Let you see how smooth it goes on. And it smells delicious, guys. And I never have to you know, just keep on. I wash my hands a lot, but if I didn't wash my hands a lot, I wouldn't have to keep reapplying. And I have severe dry skin. So that's one of the things I love about this product. It is a New Orleans company. Well, she's from New Orleans. And everything is a reference to New Orleans.
So, yeah, I like that. I saw that on the site. I like that.
Yeah, and I have a sugar scrub also. She always tell me I don't drink enough water. So I'm applying the Cure the Chap all day, CTC. For those who know who from New Orleans, CTC cross the canal, but this is Cure the Chap. So we'd like to thank our sponsor, Nola Baby Body Butter. Their products include all natural ingredients mixed with essential oils to give you the smells you love with the moisture that your body craves. Her website is www.nolababybodybutter.com, and we will be giving these things away. How should we give them away?
You said, how should we?
Yeah.
I would say, is Sharona still on? Sharona, I'm sorry. Wait, is Sharona? Sharona isn't her, is she?
I can't see the comments.
I was trying to see like who was on the longest. Because I see we have me also post Delilah's comment. Hey Delilah, I was trying to say I wanted to see who was still on like from the beginning with us, but I really can't tell. But if we could go by who all left a comment tonight, maybe.
Okay, so whoever left a comment, we will do a drawing. We'll do a drawing later, and then we'll let you know who won. Trust me, we're gonna be honest. So
wait, because I'm like, can we let our replay people get in on this though?
Okay, so it has to be a question. So, okay.
What's the question? I mean, like, what you mean a question? You're gonna ask them a question.
Yeah, we're gonna ask them a question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask them a question about you. Where is Fancy from? If they listen to the first broadcast, they know where you're from. There's Sharona. She said, "I'm here." You want to do that? That's a good question.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay, so the question is, where is Fancy from? You will have to go to the first broadcast to find out.
And how much time are we gonna give on this? Like, what are we gonna circle back in, say, 24 hours, 48 hours?
Whoever answers first.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. So whoever answers first, you have to email me. You want them to come in on here, or you want them to email me?
I want them to come in on here.
Okay.
We want y'all to come in on here. Even if you're watching the replay, come in and let us know your thoughts. Like, that's very important to us, especially as we're trying to grow the podcast. So please let us know, your thoughts, opinions, questions, whatever you got, leave it in the comments.
Yes, please, 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 please. And we hope we're bringing you guys topics that that you like. Also, we if you would like to be a sponsor, one of our sponsors, I'll do a giveaway. Please email me at admin@swagher.net. Don't forget, we have an issue coming out. I can't wait till we show y'all the our cover. And if you haven't been to the website lately, it's swagher.net. Make sure you go and see all the great things that we have out there. So, Fancy, what do we have for events, honey?
Okay, so coming up, we have the Arising Conference. The Arising Conference, Move to Forgiveness, which is kind of funny because even when I was looking at this, I was thinking about, basically the whole forgiveness situation with the Jean Botham case. But the Arising Conference will be a 2-day conference event focused on all things forgiveness by SOAR counseling and consulting. In order to arise to fulfill our God-ordained purpose, we must begin with forgiveness. So I'm going to share the link with you all if you are interested in purchasing tickets. I do apologize, but I did not note the date. I do know that it is in November, and we are a media sponsor for this event. So do please check it out. Let Tarkisha, let her know that, we sent you over. Also, if you aren't signed up for our newsletter, every Friday we do a newsletter where we share like the upcoming events, that whether they're advertisers or we're a sponsor, of us is going to be there, or whatever the case may be. So, and we're also, if you're hosting an event, you can, of course, advertise within that newsletter. And I also just want to let you all know as well that we're about to be adding on an opportunities newsletter so that you all can see, like, I've been noticing a lot of grants and things like that are coming about that's being sent our way for women. So if you aren't signed up for the newsletter, please do get signed up. I know on Instagram, Jermel messages everybody and send him those links, and I think there's also on our Facebook page, so do check that out also. And Arnya, any last thoughts or theories?
Yes. Don't forget to share our podcast with your family and your friends. This may be some information that they that they would like to catch. We want, this is not just for women, this is for men also. And we like to bring you guys news that's affecting our community. That's affecting our community, and topics that's also affecting our community. As you know, that's what we do here at Swagger: lifestyle, empowerment, and cultural. We would like to let y'all know that our podcast is on TuneIn, Google Play, and SoundCloud. So if they don't want, and YouTube. So if they can't watch it on YouTube or they don't catch our live, you can always catch us on TuneIn, Google Play, and SoundCloud. We would like to thank our show sponsor, the new Ambassador Mortgage LLC and Rebranding. Ambassador helps you conquer new territory with a 580 credit score that can help you close on a loan in less than 30 days. So you guys get at her about homes. Which city is she in? She's in Baton Rouge.
I was just about to say she actually is in Baton Rouge, but she is licensed in other states as well. So definitely check out Miss Darlene Reese. She's always been supportive of us, and I know that she's always sharing on Instagram how she's helped others, close on their house or whatever, however you word that, because I have yet to buy a house. But when I am in that position, I'm definitely going to be checking with Miss Darlene.
Okay. Thank you again to all our lovely sponsors: Genesis Fitness, Gen Fit, Nola Baby Body Butter, and Ambassador Mortgage and Rebranding. Any last words, Fancy?
No, y'all just tune in next week. We will have a guest, right? We're going to have the info out earlier than what we've normally been doing. We just have a lot going on, but we are fully committed to doing this, and we appreciate you all for tuning in. And, please just share. Please. I'm begging you. Like, I don't normally beg, I don't normally ask, I normally forget, but I've even included in my email line now, a share is much more appreciated than a thank you in this day and age. So
yes. Next week we will be talking about breast cancer awareness. As you know, this month is breast cancer and domestic violence. And on the last week, I'll go ahead and give y'all that topic. Also, it'll be mental health. So join in the conversation. That's why we say join in the conversation. Comment, like, share, subscribe on those different things that I told y'all. Tune in, Google Play, YouTube, and SoundCloud. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.